guys, it's Amy with 804 Sycamore, and in this video I am going to show you how I modernized and transformed these nightstands. Now these are from Pier 1. They are solid wood. They have really great features like this pull-out table, felt lining in the drawer, and this bottom one is nice and deep. My husband put some athletic shorts in there. And I didn't like the tiny black knobs, so I updated those. I also updated the feet. I'll give you a look. And so as you can see, I've already updated them once, but I kept feeling like they were still a little bit too traditional and formal. And until I replace them, I want to get as much use out of them as I can. And so I thought, let's just do a little facelift, switch up the style affordably, and put the original feet back on, change up the knobs, and I'm going to surprise you with the knobs, I think. But I just hope that this video helps you to look at your furniture in a new way before you toss it, donate it, or sell it. Maybe it can be salvaged and made over. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you like DIY and decorating inspiration, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you join me on this journey. So without further ado, let's get going.
So the first step, once you have your pull wrap ordered, you can go ahead and measure the height of your drawer fronts. Now I had 4 drawers that were exactly the same height, and then 2 that were the same height. So I cut all of my pull wrap at once. Now the key to cutting pull wrap to avoid fraying and chewing up the wood is to use some painter's tape. And so what I did is I found my spot, and that showed me approximately where I wanted to put my painter's tape. It doesn't have to be perfect, just try to line up the middle of the painter's tape where you need to, or just use wider painter's tape. But anyways, that really cut out most of the fray. Now you will still need to possibly sand and clean up some stuff, but I was very impressed. And obviously you want to use a nice blade on your miter saw. Miter saw is definitely the way to go. Now I had this tiny piece from cutting, and so I used that to guide me instead of measuring and marking. That's the method that I use to really keep all of my pieces the exact height that I wanted. When you do make a cut, you're going to want to unwrap the painter's tape immediately, unroll it, and clean off the back. There's going to be a lot of sawdust in there, and so you don't really want to drag that into your home. And you can see the pull wrap is still pretty curly, but when you lay it out for staining and sanding, it helps a lot. So I just took a 220 sanding sponge to kind of get any little pieces, like little slivers, little frayed edges, just to clean it up. And then I used a hairdryer to really blow any dust, in all the grooves, blow it out, and I also wiped them down. And once your surface is clean, you can go ahead and stain. Now I did take time to test out how different stains would look on this pull wrap. It's oak, but it's not a real yellow oak. I ended up using weathered oak by Varathane. But if you go to my blog post, which is linked into the description, you can see a photo of several stains that I used, and they're all lined up side by side next to the original color of the pull wrap. So maybe that will help you in making a decision, but always test your stains first. And I just used a little old paintbrush that I had because I felt like it would actually be faster and waste less stain. Now, something I had to learn the hard way is you need to stir that stain often because the color will settle to the bottom. So anyways, let your stain dry the recommended amount, and then you want to prep your piece. So what I did is I removed all the hardware, and then I just used painter's tape to create these drawer pulls, so it'd be easy to pull out the each drawer. So I used wood to help it stick out. Now, I placed the nightstand on its back so that gravity would help keep everything set, and I used an 80 grit piece of sandpaper to really rough up the flat surface that I would be gluing the pull wrap to. This part's very important. If you don't create a surface for it to adhere to, it may not stick very well. Then I used a wet towel and wiped away all the dust. Now, as it starts to dry, it starts looking scratched up, and that's perfect. Now, I laid out my pull wrap in the exact order I wanted it, so it'd be ready to go. I only used wood glue, that it was that simple, but I didn't use too much because I didn't want it squishing out, and I definitely didn't use too much around the hardware holes because I didn't want it squishing in there and I'd have to drill it out. It'd just be an extra problem. So when you have everything lined up, make sure you have some heavy boards ready to go to cover the whole surface. Because the pull wrap comes in a roll, it is, it can be slightly curved. So, and then once, the wood glue dries relatively quickly. I mean, I would say probably let it dry about 6 hours before moving on to this middle drawer. But I'm not going to drill the hardware yet. I'm going to make sure it has a whole night to totally cure before I do that. So again, sand it, wipe it clean, and then add glue, but not too much. And when you place your pull wrap pieces on it, you're going to be watching for any squishing out along the sides. For this drawer, I noticed my little piece of pull wrap was pretty curved, and so I used some clamps to give it some extra help. Now, while it was drying, I figured I can go ahead and swap out my feet, and so I removed these modern brass feet, which I can use on a different project down the road, and I just put back the traditional mushroom feet that the piece came with. I thought they were more low-key and would blend better with the new look. So I'm doing the exact same steps. Just place the piece upright, pull out my support boards, open the next drawer, and you can see all the dust. I'm not cleaning this piece until the very end. And again, sand it down. Be careful to not sand around the edges because those will still be seen. And then just wipe it up, clean it up, really make sure that the surface area is ready to be adhered to. Now, I'm sure you could use other construction adhesives, but I felt like wood glue would work best because the backing on the pull wrap is basically just a really strong, tough paper. And you want to be sure to really get your pull wrap set up exactly how you want it because that's how it's going to dry and there's no fixing it later. Now, to add my hardware, I'm adding clamps because that there are some gaps underneath that pull wrap, and I just wanted to make sure I had extra support when putting pressure from a drill gun. I also used some painter's tape to help with the fray out, and I did one without, and I'm telling you, use the painter's tape. It will save you. It will keep it nice. There won't be splitting. If there is splitting, hopefully your hardware will cover any of those issues. I used a drill bit that was the same size as my hardware screws, but it took a little finagling, and so just be patient in getting that screw in there, and then just go ahead and add your new hardware. I love these little knobs. I got a set of them on Amazon, and I will link those in the description. They're actually a really nice knob for a great price. Now, the thing about the drawers is I'm lining up the clamps so that I can still get the drill gun in there, but obviously the clamps are giving me more support. Now my drill gun, it's kind of drilling the hardware hole at an angle, but you just have to do the best you have with what you got. I would say that just updating drawer fronts to a dresser, nightstand, end table, what have you, is a really great way to update a traditional piece into something more Scandinavian, more modern, a really nice, relaxed, casual look. I think the warm wood is a nice contrast to the high lacquered black nightstands that we have. I've often thought about doing something different with the tops of these nightstands because of all the scratches and scuffs, but for now I'm happy with just updating the drawer fronts. And as you can see, it really changes the look of our furniture ever since I did the lime wash treatment to our bedroom walls. The furniture has seemed way too fussy and traditional. As you can see, I have not done the dresser, and I will not be updating the dresser. The plan is to sell it and get an armoire, something to help store bedding and pillows and stuff like that. I like coordinating furniture instead of having a perfectly matching set. We will also be updating our bed to something more casual and relaxed, but upholstered. And you can see right here, I'm pointing out that it's not a super high relief. Like the pull wrap does not protrude too much. It's actually really thin and perfect and nice. I'm so happy with it, and I feel like it works really well with the lime wash wall. It warms things up. It creates a more casual feel, and I cannot wait to update the rest of our bedroom furniture. And we're also going to do something special to the ceiling. So be sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for that. This bedroom is not done. We still have to put on baseboards and do a couple other cosmetic things. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope it has inspired you. I hope it's given you confidence to update furniture you may have with this awesome oak pull wrap. I will put links for everything in the description, and thanks for watching.